Her Majesty invites into her court Caelia Blackwolf to answer the question placed before her this morning.
Court magic.
Yes, please. Let's get over here. So we'll put you on this. Thank you. So, you were charged today to sit vigil and to hear words. At this moment, do you wish to continue on this path? Wonderful. I would have you hear more words. Please. Is there a member of the Order of the Chivalry that would speak for this candidate?
Your Majesty, I bring words from Duke Brennan. Greetings unto your Majesty and assembled nobility. I am Brennan Makarios, Knight of the Society and Duke of the East. I have the privilege of representing the Order of Chivalry for this candidate. At this moment, I am charged with speaking to what a knightly virtue a candidate best represents. That's a challenge with Caelia. It's not that she is not virtuous, certainly not. I have never known her to be anything but honest. Her Excellency Avelina has represented well to me over the years of Caelia's loyalty. Clearly, she has been generous with her time and energies, as my cousin of the Pelican has the honor of speaking to. The challenge of speaking for Caelia is that I default to speaking to a candidate's prowess. She certainly has that, but the strength of her prowess is that it often remains unseen. She simply does without fanfare. My brother knight, Ryukujin, describes a version of knighthood where a knight is called to lift up those who are not yet ready to grow tall. Such is the prowess of Caelia. She is behind or beneath so many of Bridges' successes. The shoulders on which officers grow, the brace propping up events. Then, when these people and projects have grown tall, she steps back and simply allows them to thrive. My brother Ryu might well describe this as a knight's service, but my brothers and sisters would do well to aspire to Caelia's prowess in this regard. Your Majesty makes a wise choice this day in recognizing Caelia Blackwolf, and I thank you for the privilege. I thank you for it and for the privilege of these words.
Is there a member of the Order of Defense that would speak for this candidate?
I told you. I wanted to. Unfortunately, Master Mercedes could not be here due to illness, and she asked me to convey these words to the crown. Your Majesty, I am Mercedes de Calafia, and I would speak for the Order of Defense. The Order bears witness to the virtue of perseverance, the ability to press on, to have our back, and to be there when it is most needed are Caelia's most treasured talents. She has mastered the art of quiet, graceful service that makes the entire kingdom look good. The Order of the Pelican isn't one of the sexy peerages. You don't get there by prowess of arms or making amazing art. You get there by making sure that the paperwork is in order. The display space is set up. It may not be sexy, but it is needed. Caelia is stunningly competent, and as anyone who knows me can tell you, competence is my highest compliment. Thank you, Your Majesty, for recognizing the peer that we know that she is.
Is there a member of the Order of the Rose that would speak for this candidate?
Enough
for something completely different.
Please.
So there are two things that I would like to share with you from the Order of the Rose regarding Callias Courtesy. And the first is that it is easier for some of us to be outwardly courteous than others, and that is not because of our personalities necessarily, but because of what we're dealing with. Some of us have the luxury of getting to swim along on quiet waters and be graceful and show that it is easy. And there are some of us who see the deadfall and the brambles and the submerged weeds and rocks, and they make it their job to go and clean those out and make it easy for the rest of us. And that is harder. And the second thing that I would like to share is that if I am ever injured and can no longer dance for a while and need an extended recovery, I hope that I handle it with as much grace as you have, to stay with the dance community and be a support for us, in addition to supporting, I don't even know how many other communities and royals and parts of the kingdom and so forth. What you do is hard, and you do it very well, and you are a role model to the rest of us. So I recommend it very highly to you guys.
Is there a member of the Order of the Laurel that would speak for this candidate?
Oh, that would be Please, Your Majesty and the court, I claim and own the privilege to speak for this lady for my Order of the Laurel. So my job, pardon me for mooning you, is to speak on the terms from the Order of the Laurel from an art perspective on this candidate. Well, let me tell you something. There is a true fact that there are people in this world and in this society that perform service as artfully as you can imagine. And I mean, it's one of those things where the amount of grace that Caelia expresses, and despite any of the services that she may do, it's very easy to see within minutes how good she is at it, and how much pleasure it gives her. And joy in the eyes over what people are doing is something that Laurels look for. So when she and her husband joined our encampment for Bergenthal at Penzance, and we had just met them, we loved them within minutes, because it was really easy to say, hey, Caelia, we need this thing done, and we got it done. Oh, sure, no problem. Okay, but it's oh, no, sure, no problem. Okay, then, I'm going to go over here and deal with this other thing, and looking out of the corner, and by God, she knew how to do that thing. That's art. That's learning to do it as art. She knew how to do it. All the practicalities and the things that we need in this society, she has mastered. You know, you sometimes don't know the person that brings the cooler and fills it with water all the time. A lot of times that's a really sneaky thing. Guess who can do things like that? Or some of the more difficult things, let's face it. Throwing events, running vigils, doing things like that, and the response is always, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. That's a master of the art of service. And I am so, so pleased to be standing here this day to represent the Order of the Laurel and say, she is my peer 100%. And I cannot recommend her enough to Your Majesty.
Is there a member of the Order of the Pelican that would speak for this candidate?
Yes, Your Majesty, there is. I, Pagan Graham, have that great honor and pleasure. Do you mind if I speak not just to her, but to your populace?
Please.
My friends, today I was given a gift. I was told I should speak of the service of Caelia. The chivalry speak of prowess. The mod speaks of persistence. The rose speaks of courtesy and grace. And the laurel is supposed to speak on passion. However, but come on. It is the job of the companions of the Order of the Pelican to speak of someone's service. The pelican in her piety is an ancient symbol. It is the symbol that shows someone does service that is selfless and service that is to all. And if you were here this morning, you heard of Callia's long service to the Exchequer here in Bridge, to the Kingdom database for the MOL, and currently as Seneschal is the Barony of the Bridge. And she was a multiple-year steward of this event. So how many people in here know whether or not she likes to dance? Yeah, a few people do. She does like to dance. But that's not really the point, is it? The point was she ran this event year after year after year so that you could dance, so that you could dance, so that you could dance, so that you could have the joy that you want in your life. That is a pelican in her piety, piercing her own breast to feed the rest of us. Caelia is patient. She's kind. She's like that duck who's swimming along, serene on the surface, but paddling like mad underneath. Bird and tiger, Queen's honor distinction, court barony, consorts, cipher, sovereigns, cipher, silver crescent, working constantly without end, all for the love of what needs to be done, and all without any thought for either praise or notice. Caelia, you're not my peer. Someday I want to be your peer. Your Majesty, this is a good thing you do, and speaking for my order, the Order of the Pelican, I attest that this should be done. Thank you very much.
So, after hearing these words, what is your answer?
Her Majesty would have in her court the companions of the Order of the Pelican.
Oh, I'm sorry. You guys, sorry. I forgot.
This is the third time I'm doing this and it's still not any easier. Having you as my student, having you as my friend, has been one of the greatest gifts I have ever been given. I know that Pagan just spoke on behalf of the Pelicans and Thura spoke on behalf of the Rose. As your Pelican, I would like to say a couple things. I cannot explain to the kingdom how much Caelia was part of my successes for you guys. In 2012, I looked at her and I said, hey, I want to run a known world event. You want to do what? Yeah, known world heralds and scribes. It'll be great. She was my right-hand person then. that was a great event. 3.5 years ago, hey, I got this idea. You in? Yes, great. I want you to be misinformation. I knew she was a peer then. She was in charge of Information Point at East Kingdom 50 here. She was given the job. A couple of weeks later, she said to me, I can't do this. I have too much on my plate. Work is this, work is that. And I'm like, okay. On a personal note, I'm set. On all the other notes, excellent decision making. That's what we want. You know, don't do the job halfway. 2 weeks after that, she came to me. Have you picked anyone for the job? Nope. I want the job. She's like, I've thought about it. I think I can manage this. And I'll kick myself because this is my jam. And I'm like, you want the job, it's yours. 2 years we worked on that event. I would go out to the site. I would have staff meetings out at the site. Do you think that I remembered to bring a notebook? No. Somebody would ask me a question. That's a really great point. There's Caelia with the notebook, writing this stuff down, rolling her eyes at me. I don't quite remember who said it. It was either Constance and Denise or Caelia. But both of them are really important. And one of them looked at me, and I'm pretty sure it was you, and said, you know, due dates are a thing. Right. Okay. Yeah, that'll make things easier. I'll get on that. And everything went sideways. We all know that. For 2 years. She was my right hand, and Maeve was my left hand. And they really helped make that work. If you think of anything good that I hate talking about me. I am so sorry that I'm saying me. But so many of the things that have been accomplished is because you were there. So I wanted to say thank you in front of the kingdom to you for that. And I learned a lot from you. I don't know whose belt that is. But it is time for you to no longer be my student and to become a peer reviewer. So made by your protege, Sister Libby, with love. I am going to give this to you, so at such time, if you decide to take a student of your own, you have a legacy belt to pass on. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, it's gonna be a group ugly cry. Okay. Okay.
Are you ready? Is there a hood for this candidate?
Yep.
You really are good at it.
Ready? Your Majesty, she knows the little story of this one. I knew.
Here we go.
Oops.
Hello. It's a baby.
There you go.
Is there a medallion?
There is, Your Majesty. This is a legacy medallion from Yana von Drachenflower to Lucian von Drachenflower to William Trout, known as Billyfish, to me.
I did not know that that medallion was going to be here today, so this is another one that was gotten for her.
Margarita, graceful queen, to the East, Pelicans and populace, hear me now. The whole community should know that we have seen the beloved protege Caelia has long been a force behind the Black Rose Ball and as Bridges' exchequer and seneschal. She has served with the Kingdom Minister of Lists and as head retainer. Most especially, she was a trusted advisor for 2 years of planning the East's 50th birthday party. She is quiet, strong, and helpful when problems are difficult. Caelia is the best of service. Therefore do we, Margarita, induct Caelia Blackwolf into our Order of the Pelican. Further do we bestow upon Mistress Caelia the sole right throughout the known world to these arms by letters patent, to wit, a chevron inverted goals between 3 wolf paw print, 2 and 1 overall a wolf's head cooped, bouillant and sinister sable. In witness whereof we set our hand at Black Rose Ball on the 7th day of March, Anno Societatis 54, in the Barony of the Bridge. Words by Maeve Inyan E. Calais, calligraphy and illumination by Fiona O'Malley Okonkwoye.
Our newest Pelican.
For Caelia, newest companion of the Order of the Pelican.
Viva! Viva! Viva!
Please go greet your order.